Welcome to Path of the Jaguar. Your host, Michael here. We have David for the first time on the podcast. Thank you very much for coming, Dave.
No problem, bro. Thanks for having me,
Of
bro.
course, man. All the way up from North Carolina.
Yep.
Should be a good one.
Charlotte.
Charlotte.
We out here.
Is that your chick, Charlotte?
Nah, that's the Queen City, bro. Come on.
Queen City. All right, so first we're going to start off with our sponsors, advertisements, good stuff, so stay tuned. First one I have for you guys to check out, Unseen Cove. It's one of the best ways to support the podcast. We have brand new shirts, hats, hoodies coming in all the time, dope designs and like philosophical things, funny things, just cool psychedelic designs. Check them out. And that's a great way to support and look fresh when you're walking around. You know what I mean? Now, this is the big one. This one helps us out as well, but also helps the planet. So this is something that's going to make you feel good. Do you know about solar, Dave? Have you ever heard of this new technology that's been sweeping the nation right now? You've heard of this thing.
Of course.
What if I were to tell you, you can put it on your house without any cost? Nothing. You pay nothing, and you get to help the environment.
Right.
Yeah, that's it. You just have to have a good roof. You get it on your roof there, and you'll get literally a lower bill, no cost. You might get some money from your state. In the descriptions, whether you're on YouTube or iTunes, there is going to be several states listed there. If you live in any of these states, you might be lucky enough to actually benefit from the great benefits of solar. Shoot an email at MediaFibNot. That's going to be in the description as well. And hopefully we can help you out. Maybe you guys can save some money, and maybe you can have a long-term effect on the planet. I'm over here fucking shit up. All right.
Got you, man.
So, Dave, thank you so much.
Of course, bro.
Coming in. You actually mind closing that door? It slipped my mind.
No
Yeah. We don't want people knowing about our secret room back there.
Oh, yeah.
That's where the magic goes.
Yeah, you don't want that. No.
So I actually want to start with the fact that you actually are going to school for a lot of like the recording, the media. What's the major specifically?
So I'm a communications major, and my concentration is broadcasting.
Okay, cool.
There's different ones, like public relations is another one in communications. It's just journalism. And there's a new one actually in health they provide at my college. But yeah, I'm a communications concentration, and I'm a Spanish minor as well.
Doing a combo.
I needed that, yeah.
Yeah, so you can communicate in Spanish.
Right.
Smart. I like the way you think. That's actually funny because ever since I started like Media Fibonacci, and I've been trying to like grow it anywhere I can.
Right.
I've actually been like looking back, like maybe that's what I should have went for school. You know, like what is it like you're exactly learning? Like making me regret not going to school for it.
I'll try my best. But I'm still kind of figuring it out too. What I'm pretty sure of as of right now is that if you're a broadcasting major, you're pretty much trying to get a job in either a radio station or a television station.
Mm-hmm.
So whether it's editing, whether it's editing audio.
Is it just
video.
audio? Oh, you do video too. That's what I was gonna bring up too. Yeah.
Whether it's like it can be a lot of different things, honestly, within broadcasting, but.
No, it's dope because, but one thing I know is the media is always going to be around. People are always going to want to consume entertainment.
Right.
And that's definitely a good field to go into. But do you think you could, again, but do you think you could learn that stuff on YouTube? Still finish school. This is not me trying to, but I'm just pulling information for myself.
Like on YouTube, like learn.
So me, like entirely everything I know from Premiere Pro, all the other programs that I've used, how I figured out how to do this stuff,
right.
I YouTubed it.
Right.
So here's the thing, you definitely need a degree because it helps out. But I'm curious if that's where the future's going. This is not me asking the question for us. I'm just trying to think of what's going to happen in 10 years. You have facilities. I know you send me pictures of like the studios and stuff. Like you have high-end technology, which is dope. I'm curious if that's where it's gonna, like the direction where it's gonna go. Like you can go to a place to use their facilities, but like the main things that you can learn are online, and maybe that could cut college costs because everybody's getting killed with those things. I'm still paying my student loans, like, and I'm not even using my degree. So I'm just curious if that's like the direction.
Well, the whole YouTube thing, to answer that, is like I feel like you can find anything on YouTube, regardless of whether it's like trying to get famous on YouTube or just like you're looking up the daily problem that you're having, you could like find anything on YouTube.
You want to fix something in your engine, like, yo, how do I replace the belt? You know what I mean?
I looked it up the other day, my brake light. I mean, I didn't really need to look that up after I figured it out, but
oh no, I would, yeah. That's not common knowledge.
It was super easy. I found it on YouTube. Did it in like, watched the video under 2 minutes when I did that. But the reason why I'm in broadcasting, I'm gonna answer your question.
Please, thank you.
The reason why I kind of went into broadcasting is because I do believe it's kind of where it's going. Like the internet is obviously blown up since it's been here, and the social media is blowing up as well. So I feel like whether I'm trying to work in a radio station or a television station, these skills that they teach you within the broadcasting department is like camera work, editing, all this, where it's gonna be useful to you whether you're on YouTube, whether you're doing a podcast. You don't really necessarily have to work in a radio or television station.
Yeah, no, of course. Yeah, like, because you can go and go the entrepreneurial route and then, figure things on your own. But they both apply. You're still doing the same things. The cameras still need to get pointed in the same direction. The lighting needs to be the same. The editing's still going to be the same. It was more so how much of that stuff is going to get pulled out of schools. But most likely you want, like me, I'm lost. You know what I mean? Because I don't have someone with experience so much who can actually be like, no, this is not how you do it. You're fucking up. Or, hey, you're gonna lose a lot of time by doing it in this order or whatever it is. You know what I mean? So it's definitely good to have that as well. But now, the social media thing is what you threw in there too, and I want to make sure I go into that.
We gotta talk about it.
No. Not that we have to talk about it. It's just, it's crazy how different it is now. Where before, if you wanted to do things like this, you needed to put your advertisements on TV or radio. You needed to pay somebody to go and promote yourself. There's like, you go to diners, they have those advertisement placemats. Like you'd have to go through things like that. Now you can literally just get a bunch of followers and pulling people that way. Like, are you learning a little bit of that? Like, that's so interesting because I didn't get really, because I guess I'm a little bit older than you. Social media wasn't non-existent when I was in high school. Started coming up when I was in college. So it's, looking back, it's kind of funny that there are people in classes right now being taught how to use Facebook and Instagram, and it's just like, it's crazy how those things fucking grow, because it's just some guy who wanted to make it because he wanted to meet chicks, or people want to make friends, or people want to show off what they're eating, but now people are making mad fucking money.
And everybody is too. Like,
everybody.
You can be, you know what I'm saying? But that's just, that's another concentration in communications is public relations.
Okay.
And I feel like public relations people are always on like social media and like advertising things for companies. Isn't it the public relations sector, or am I just?
Because you're trying to create relations with the public. So it's pretty self-explanatory. But that's actually like an interesting point, because 10 years ago, public relations class probably weren't. No, they weren't, because I don't even know how old is Facebook and Instagram. Not probably around that time, or little sooner than that.
Yeah, it's wild.
But it's kind of weird, like, again, because you're probably like 5 years younger than me or something like that, and the difference of when we were in school. Like you were in school with a cell phone, right? You were in high school with a cell phone.
I'll admit, like, I'm like addicted to Twitter, bro.
I'm addicted to Facebook. I'm a fucking old man. Why the fuck am I addicted to Facebook?
But I feel like it's not just the younger people either. Like, my parents my dad will be on Facebook videos for hours, just like scrolling down. I'm like, jeez, man. But dude, it's taking over. And what was the question exactly?
No, I was just talking about like the fucking just how weird it is. Oh, the question was high school. Like, the reason why I asked the question is because I feel like there's gonna be, you know how like they say like, oh, millennials, Generation Z, blah blah, they base it on what year you're born. Where I think there's the main difference between those two generations are when you got your cell phones. Where, you know, when I was in school, like if I wanted to text somebody, I had to hit a button like 3 or 4 times just to get a letter. And then people 10 years before me had no cell phones and beepers and whatever. But like you guys, you were like texting in class, right? You can fucking.
Oh, I could text without looking. I would be like under the desk, like looking at the teacher, just going at it, and I'd look at it, and it'd be like 2 typos. I go fix it, and then like, there's a whole paragraph.
It's such a weird thing, you know, just because. And the reason why I put that distinction is because I feel like What is that? What are you doing over there?
Hey, you gotta hydrate, bro.
He
Asked me before the podcast.
No,
He's like, "You need a cup, bro?" And I was like, "Nah, it's part of it, man. Come on, let me do my thing."
For the people listening and not watching, David just pulled out a gallon of water out of nowhere and chugging. We're gonna get up.
It is hidden too.
It's like, see, this is why when you said it, I'm like, you definitely have to do it because it's gonna throw people off. Like, what the fuck is going on? What's with the water? What you drinking a gallon of water a day? Is that the deal?
So, yeah, I'm on creatine, so you kind of have to drink a lot of water away.
Lunk.
Like, yeah, all my muscles water right now.
Yeah.
I feel like a water bed. But
is that last? Like, do your shit go away if you're not keeping up with the water?
It does go away.
Yeah.
Literally, as soon as you stop taking creatine, it'll go away.
Yeah, I did it.
But when I looked it up, it was like, how do you get off of creatine? If you wanted to know, it's you just take less and less, but you don't stop. Like you don't, because if you stop, then you just lose your weight. I'm pretty sure.
So like literally, if you just stop clear, like boom, you're gonna lose the weight. But if you like taper off,
right,
you actually keep it. Mm-hmm. Holy shit! So that's your plan eventually. Sup, Chris? So that's I never realized that was a thing. I thought like once you're done, like it's not building up, but you can taper off and then like hold on to it.
It's because it's water weight. That's what I feel like. It's because it's water weight. So I don't know what creatine does exactly, to be honest with you, with the water, but it just, I guess it's like something where it's like when it combines with water, then it just goes straight to your muscles, like that you've been working. Yeah,
I used it for a bit, and I got like decently bigger.
Yeah, it was like the thing for a while. Like if you're not taking steroids, you're on creatine. Like it was the shit. It was a shot. I took it in high school too, but I hated it because it was like inconvenient to be drinking so much water. But now, like, I kind of like I feel like I can't drink too much water. Too much water is not really a bad thing. I never run into that issue, unless I wake up like in the middle and I gotta fucking piss. That's the worst part. But yeah.
But now, like, again, I haven't done any research on creatine. Like, I use it for a bit. Just I'm terrible when it comes to things like that. Like, looking up all the little details. Some people are better than others. Did you research it at all?
No,
like,
honestly, I really didn't. Like, it was recommended to me by a friend, and I did it in high school, so I kind of knew what it was about already. But no, I don't really. And especially like, it's funny that you bring that up because especially like when I eat and stuff, like I have friends that go and like look at when they're going grocery shopping, they'll look at all the ingredients and everything that goes into it, and like, I don't know, I just couldn't do it, bro.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a good trait to have, but
yeah,
like,
for sure.
You can only do so much. Yeah. So, because I'm actually curious. What I was going to ask you, I just got to look into it or hopefully talk to somebody who knows more about it. Like, I'm curious if it just makes your arms bigger, but doesn't make you any stronger. You know what I mean? Like, because like, you ever see the SpongeBob episode where he gets those pink arms and he inflates it?
I remember what they called, but yeah.
I'm curious if that's what creatine's really doing in the arms. Like, you just look bigger, but there's no strength in them at all.
Right.
But again, I'm sure I can find out within seconds if that's true. But that's actually a thing when it comes to like more and more what I'm realizing with all like the articles that are coming out, what everybody's saying about like diet and so on, like how clueless we really are. Like we were speaking about this earlier, like, you know, people got to drink a gallon of water a day, 2 liters, and you were a little skeptical about it. Wait, was it? I think it was your brother that said it.
Probably.
Yeah, your brother was saying that that whole 8 glasses of water a day.
Oh yeah,
no,
that was me.
That was you. That was like a Gatorade.
Yeah,
exactly. But that's what I'm saying. Like you really don't know what to believe because they might tell you.
You don't know who's selling it to you. Like somebody's gonna be selling it to you. Nobody's just telling you something.
Mm-hmm. And it might not even be selling you it on money, but just on ideology, like veganism. They're selling you on an idea. It's a religion in the reality of it, because they based a lot of their morality on reducing suffering, right? You don't want other things to suffer. You don't want to kill a chicken and a cow. So that like is their big religious principle. So they want to make sure nobody else is doing it. It's kind of like those born again Christians. They're going around trying to like convert people.
Right.
Like veganism's doing the same thing, and people telling you how much, you know, water you need to drink and how much food. Like I'm sure. Have you been hearing it all? Like carnivore diets at all or no?
Carnivore diets.
Carnivore. There are people out there who are literally eating just meat. So it's funny.
So is it like a new thing or?
I'm sure it's been around for a while. I've been hearing it more recently. So like essentially there's a couple people, one of them being a doctor, Jordan Peterson's another one,
right,
who they cut out everything else in their life and they just eat like meat. So
oh wow.
Jordan Peterson specifically only eats beef. and like he's seen.
I think I've heard him say that.
Yeah.
That's weird, man.
And he's actually seen like a huge like change in his health. Like his daughter's depression went away when she started doing shit like that. It's kind of crazy. So like with the whole water thing, like I don't think there's a conspiracy behind it. I think scientists can figure out how much water needs to go through your body, but that is a big problem nowadays. Is you don't really know what to believe. Should I eat meat? Should I not eat meat? Should I only eat meat? Should I take creatine, vitamins? Like you don't know what to fucking believe nowadays.
That's why I do everything. I do everything because I don't like to become dependent on a certain thing, whether it's food, whether it's like I don't like to eat the same thing every day. Okay. Because I feel like too much of anything will kill you. So like I try to
there's
everything in moderation.
That's exactly what I was gonna say.
But I don't really keep away from certain foods or like, to be honest with you, like I don't like when the whole thing with the McDonald's chicken nuggets, bro, I'd be in there just steal it. That's like the pink fat. You see the video?
That's exactly what I was gonna say. Like that's it's a pink goop from fucking Ghostbusters. Is in reality what we're eating.
Out the walls.
Yeah. See that's the thing. Like where I can see like, I'm not gonna take anybody's word on diet because they don't. No one knows everything. Nobody knows what's specific to certain bodies. But I'm pretty sure we can come to an agreement that fast food is shit for you. Like I don't think anybody can defend.
It depends on the fact. Like Wendy's, fresh never frozen. Come on, bro. Wendy's is my shit.
Or Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A is like real food. Yeah.
Do you guys have Bojangles up here?
No. We're not racist.
Like,
we don't have that shit out here. Yeah, actually, like, cause you're in North Carolina, and I've been there like half a dozen times now. I know that, but
wait, before we leave the topic,
go, please. We go back and forth.
I wanted to ask you a question. What's the whole like? I've always wanted to understand the whole fasting thing, cause like we were talking about diet, so like I understand like people go on diets for multiple reasons. Like I went on a diet before we went on vacation, no carb, no sugars.
Yeah.
And that was just kind of like to lose weight. So I know it's like, but what was it with the whole fasting thing?
So I'm no expert at all, but from my extensive research on YouTube and my cousins, essentially what I hear is actually one of my coaches from jiu-jitsu explained it perfectly. As animals, like walking through nature, like which we do now, even though we're walking through cities and all that, like we're moving around and we need to conserve our energy as best as possible. Food is only going to come when it comes by, and so on. And everything we do is really dependent on the energy that we have. You know, if you don't have the energy for it, you're not going to outrun the tiger. You're going to get eaten alive. You know, right. And everything our body does needs energy to begin. So, for example, digesting food also requires energy. So, like the best way I can start at is like, you know how they always say like food is your fuel. Your body takes that food, breaks it down, and puts it through your body so your body can keep pumping blood and breathing in oxygen and creating muscle and repairing skin. It needs to do all those things to continue. But you also only have a finite amount of energy. It's kind of like if you have like a laptop or a phone, you can only circulate so much energy into certain programs and certain components because it only has so much wattage. Okay. So in that same exact, I know I'm not doing a great job, but I'm trying to make it as simple as possible. And but digesting needs a certain amount of energy. So that means all the other things in your body cannot get that energy. So now because I'm digesting food all day because I need to eat 3 meals because that's what my culture has taught me. I need to have a big breakfast and a big lunch and a big dinner, and there's no break from my body. I'm digesting all day, so my body needs that energy for digesting, meaning I'm not going to have that electricity flowing to skin repair, brain repair, whatever, you know? So that's actually where fasting comes into place because you're giving your body a break from digesting so it can do other things.
Right. That's very interesting.
Yes, so that's like the main part. Yeah. So like that was the one part that sold me. I'm like, boom, that makes so much sense. It's very intuitive.
So how long it has to take like a certain amount of time though before like
it can actually start.
Right. So how long do you have to be like?
Again, no expert, but
do you have to like fast a certain amount? You can just fast a certain amount of hours a day, or like
there's different types of fasting. Okay. So other benefits that you get from fasting is again you do get to cut some weight, you do get to cut some fat because now your body starts to burn the fat instead of burning the food that you have in you.
Yeah.
That's why sugar and carbs are shit because you store that stuff, and it takes so long to break it down. And especially if you continue to eat, your body never gets to the point where it's breaking it down because that's getting stored.
Right.
So there's a lot of benefits, like a kind of. I also want to talk about yoga later too, because we got to do some yoga today. It all ties in, where you have that the meditative benefits of yoga, because now you're so focused on the moment and your moves that you're getting out of the habit of constantly thinking all the time. So it makes you more aware, more in the moment. Fasting does that same exact thing.
Because it makes you helps you concentrate.
Because you get thrown in this alert mode. So I got to fast for 2.5 days. So the fasting that I've heard is very beneficial is a 3-day fast.
Okay.
So you have a 3-day fast because you can literally just water. I didn't do coffee, nothing like that, because then my body can go into ketosis. I'm sure you've heard of ketosis before. So
no, I haven't.
I'm not gonna explain it well, but it's a diet thing that also boosts your energy because again you're not storing up all that extra bullshit. You're just getting exactly what you need.
Okay.
So when I was fasting, dude, I got so maniacal. I needed to do things. I was cleaning out my car. I couldn't sleep.
Crack down that Adderall, boy.
Yeah, and it's a natural energy. And the reason why that is because if you're in the wild walking around and you're hungry, your body needs to kick into overdrive because it needs to get shit done, because if you don't get that food, you're going to die. So that's another benefit.
Wow.
So then after my 3-day fast, now I go back into the rest of my week with some energy, because now I'm creating that loop where it's I need to get things done now, and I'm also getting that energy. So that's another benefit. But there are other fasts, intermittent fasting, where you don't go days without eating. You just don't eat until late at night.
Right.
So the whole day you go, and then you eat at 7 or 8, and you could do that in a couple days in a row, but you're eating one meal. I don't know which ones are better. I don't know what the benefits of them are. I've heard people also fast for a month.
But you clearly had you got benefits from it.
Mm-hmm. It's undeniable. Crazy. It's undeniable. Yeah. I can't tell you the right way to fast and all the specific benefits and whether or not each individual person should do it.
Right.
But it sounds like all around the board, everybody's agreeing, especially nowadays because people are becoming more aware of that stuff, that it's undeniably good for you. It's like meditating. You can't argue against meditating. You can't argue against yoga. These things they're good for you. And that's it. People are going to believe whatever they want to believe, of course, but there's definitely that trend, and that stuff is going into that direction,
For sure, yeah. All the health people, all the vegans and everything, for sure.
Yeah. So so today was your second yoga experience.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it was my second yoga experience. The first one was kind of just I don't know. This one was completely different because it was hot yoga, right?
Yeah.
It is? Hot yoga.
Mm-hmm.
So that was completely different than my first. The first one, she was just kind of telling us what position, really explaining.
Where was it?
How to. It was at my college.
Okay, so it was a teacher.
Right. Yeah. So it was my freshman year in college. So it was it was a health and wellness class, one of those first classes that you just have to take. And they had a guest come in, and we did yoga, and the guest was a yoga teacher.
Okay, cool.
She came and told us how to do the moves. Today I was thrown in there, you know what I'm saying? I was just
I saw you, man.
Right
I get a good laugh because I'd also get thrown off because I'm also trying to do the move, and I miss one thing
her
the teacher
voice. Oh my god.
Welcome to Brooklyn, man. So you're gonna do the yoga, and then you're gonna do
I didn't understand. I had to keep looking at you because I had no idea what she was saying.
That's all I laugh because you look at me, and then I'll notice that I'm not doing it right either. I'm I'm fucking David up. So 100%, man. I'll get and that's the second time I've had that teacher.
For real?
Yeah. That's how there are plenty of people who talk like that. I'm sure she's not. I don't think she's from around here.
Right.
But that's that whole. I don't know, man.
Yeah,
people out here weird, man. Yeah, I don't know.
It's not natural.
It's
not natural.
I don't know. Maybe that's just how she like the TV she watches or the people she hangs around. It's like this tonal flux that she does. Like, yeah, it's not ideal for yoga. When I saw her walk in, I kind of got a good laugh for you because I knew that you were gonna experience the same thing. There's obviously they're also like, because it's actually funny how the person's voice, how much of an influence it has on your yoga. Because people come in and they talk really soft and it like really gets you in the mood. So it's very funny that you got this lady, then it throws you off. But yeah, it's tough because you didn't know the moves.
That's true too. Yeah. That's what I was about to say. Is like when she was saying it, all I knew was upward dog and downward dog. Mm-hmm. So like I was like had to keep looking around, and it was just me and Michael in this place, and like it was as the only guys.
Yes.
And so it was just a bunch of girls in there, and I don't want to be looking at the girls to do them, but I didn't want to be like a freak in there looking at all the girls. So like,
but you also want to know what you were doing and make sure that you're not doing the wrong thing. Now you have to look at other people. You have to make because especially when you're new to it, like. Everybody's the same way when they start because, they'll say one little description like, oh, put your ankle on your knee. And then it just sounds weird and you're trying to like make sense out of it. But if you've done it, like I've been doing it for almost 2 years now where I already know what direction they're going. Oh, cool. And that's where I was messing up because I was actually going a step ahead. I'm like, nope, that's not what she's trying to do.
And I could see that with the girls too. Like they were kind of just like flowing with it. They knew it was coming next the entire time. Yeah, bro. I don't even stretch, man. I gotta start. Did you hear my knees popping?
No, I didn't. I was too busy listening to my knees popping.
Dude, if I crouch for more than 20 seconds and I stand up, they both pop.
Yeah. That's why it's such a good practice, especially because you lift and things like that. Yeah. Like you need to stretch, because
I get told that all the time, and I never stretch.
Yeah.
And it's not even like I'm being like arrogant, like I don't want to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it's stretches for bitches.
I just don't think of like. After I go to the gym, it's like that's my workout. I'm not gonna think of going home, eating, and then stretching. Like I'm
because working out is enough. Like it's exhausting, but like that has to be part of your practice because you're gonna be one day like struggling to touch your shoulder, and you're gonna only have one person to blame. You know what I mean?
Right.
But definitely a good practice, and like that's another reason why like yoga is getting big because it's so undeniably good for you because you're getting strength, you're getting the flexibility, you're getting the mobility, like. You're also having the meditative benefits of like being more aware and you walk out of there in a better mood.
I felt great.
Yeah.
I took a nap too. I felt great.
Yeah, man. It's a cool thing, man, because that like it throws you right into that like I don't understand why that is. Why, and it's not just yoga. Like you go to the gym and you come out feeling good, I'm sure. Like
but sometimes I come out feeling bad too. Have you ever had that? Like
when you're in pain?
Well, not necessarily like, I don't know. Sometimes when I work out, like, I just get tired way easier. I feel weaker when I go. Like sometimes I go in and I'm like psyched to be there and I feel like great. Mm-hmm. But I never take pre-workout or anything like that. So like, it's like completely dependent on what type of mood I'm in and what type of morning. Like, because I get there and sometimes I just feel weaker. And like sometimes I'll get dehydrated easier and I'll feel like I'm about to not like pass out, but I'll feel like a little bit lightheaded because I don't eat before the gym either. I go to
I don't know what the ruling is on that too. Like if you want to eat, because I've gone to the gym hungry and then I get lightheaded.
Well, I don't go hungry. I go as soon as I wake up.
Okay.
So as soon as I wake up.
So that's fasting, by the way.
Yeah, exactly.
Listen to the word breakfast, break fast. Breakfast is when you break your fast. So if you don't eat breakfast till 12, you fasted all morning.
Oh.
So there are again.
I didn't know that's why.
Dropping knowledge.
That's crazy, bro. Dropping a gem on me.
Just change your whole fucking world. Yeah, I changed bacon and eggs for you for the rest of your life.
Oh my.
But yeah, like there's times where I go, like I fast and then I go, and then I get lightheaded and there's not like. Then that's a struggle. Yeah. But then there's times I have food in my stomach and now it's like fucks me up too because whatever, the whole, you gotta swim 30 swim 30 minutes after you eat type of deal. So again, there's all these, there's so many little things that I don't think we'll ever know what the right diet is and what the right
because it's just so many now. I feel like because everybody has their own. Like everybody is like, even if you started your own diet and like with Jordan Peterson, for example, he started his own diet with just beef. Like he probably found that, but like
he heard it from the start, but she learned it from other things. But
it's still for certain people. I mean,
I don't think I'd be able to do that.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I don't know.
But like I know
I wouldn't be able to do that actually.
Yeah, me neither. Like
now that I've been eating all this other stuff, I couldn't do it.
Again, it's like, you know, how lactose intolerant people can't have milk, but some people like feel like they get benefits from it. And you know, again, some people can only eat beef and feel the healthiest they've ever felt, and there's people who cut out meat entirely and then they feel the best.
Right.
And it's just so specific to your body. Like even the lifestyle that you choose, there is no best lifestyle. You can go and you can be one of those people that works 80 hours a week and become a billionaire, and that works for you. Everybody wants money, but not everybody is going to enjoy the lifestyle of working 8 hours a week as their best life, where it's like, fuck it, I'm going to be lazy, still do what I need to do and not avoid the responsibilities I need, but not benefit from having yachts and jets and stuff like that, you know?
Yeah, but isn't that scary at the same time? Because, like, you don't really know what kind of lifestyle, like, you want to live.
Yeah, I guess I could. No, you're right. No, I know what you mean, because
in general,
I guess it is scary, because then you step into life not knowing what to do, and there's so much uncertainty in your life, and it's like, what should I do?
And there's so many different things, so many diets to go on.
Yeah, like what's
fast food places to go to eat, like you don't know what to do.
Yeah, I think that like you're actually hitting on something big there, because I think that is a big problem in people's lives, and I think that's why people.
It's too much.
Well, either their life is too much, or they don't know who they are, and they don't, again, because they don't know exactly how they want to spend each of their days. They feel lost because they don't know what to do.
And by the end of the day, they're like, fuck, I didn't do what I wanted to do. Like,
you know? Or 10 years go by and you're like, what the fuck did I do? Yeah. No, that's a very scary thing. And like, I think that's also where like religions like come in too, because that's what a religion is doing, is telling you how to live your life. What is the ideal lifestyle? And some are more right than others. Some have great practices and crappy practices in between. But like, I think because we're so scared of not knowing what to do with our lives, that's where we look for things like, you know, you know, if you were to base what career you want to do, it's not like this innate thing in you where you feel, oh, this is my calling.
Right.
It's found by the values that the people around you value. So people like famous people, so everybody wants to be famous. People want to, you know, people see that doctors and lawyers and police officers are looked up to, so you go for that. People follow their parents' footsteps because they see their parents as heroes.
Right.
And
that works out sometimes. But then I don't know.
There's no problems with that. Exactly. As long as it does line up with what you want. If you're doing something strictly because, oh, this is where the money is, or if you're strictly following like something your parents told you had to do, like you don't like the medical field, but your parents are forcing you to become a doctor, like that's gonna be miserable. You know, like, you know, I want to be a painter, mom. I want to be a doctor. You know, like that like it's such a common theme in movies and things. Yeah, that's real. Yeah. So yeah, that is scary, and you. It sounds like primarily what you got to do is figure out who you are, and this is where awareness comes into play, where you pay attention to when you feel good and when you feel like shit. You know, I hate when I do this. I love when I'm doing this, and you notice it all the time. Like especially like to tie it in with diet, where now that I'm getting older, I can eat something and immediately know I shouldn't eat that.
Right.
Like, and that's how you figure out your diet. You shouldn't just whatever someone throws at you, you believe. Yeah, you should probably take advice from your doctors, but like I can go and so I used to eat peanut butter and jelly sandwiches all day. That was my shit. Now that I'm 27 years old, probably, I don't know if it's because my body just requires more efficient food or I'm just more aware of what my body needs. But the other day, I was going to go to yoga. I had like 30 minutes to go there, and the same thing's going through my head as before I'm going to work out. Like, I don't want to go there starving because I'm going to get lightheaded, but I don't want to eat too much. So let me, you know, and I also can't cook anything because I don't have anything to cook, and I have to go to the supermarket, come back. Let me just eat something real quick. Let me eat a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And I eat one, and it was delicious. sweet, and salty. And the bread was banging. It was the best peanut butter and jelly sandwich I had in my life. So I decided to have a second one. And my fucking day changed completely. Like, to the point where I'm like, I'm not going to go to yoga. Like, I ended up going because I knew if I went to yoga, it would make me feel better. But, like, I can't eat that shit. Right. So now I'm more aware of the foods that I should go towards and should avoid. And that same way, if being a cop, you did it because of the benefit, the pensions and the health benefits and all the things, and your father was a cop, your grandfather was a cop, and you decide to do that because this is what everybody's been telling you your whole life. But you're years into it and you're miserable. Like, then you have to start asking yourself, and you can pay attention to it. Like, oh, anytime I'm doing this, I feel like shit. So let me not, So it's still. That's why I feel like there is an issue with just blanket religions where it's like, this is how you live your life. This is it. It's not going to fit for everybody. Just like veganism is not going to fit for everybody. Right. So
I had a vegan friend. I was actually telling Freddie, she was, I don't know if you've ever heard of this rapper, Lil Baby. He made a song with Drake recently.
No, I haven't, but that doesn't sound like a crazy new name. That sounds like every rapper out right now. Lil Baby? Yeah,
Lil
there's
Baby,
there's like 30 of them right now.
Well, he's cousins with some girl that went to my high school.
Okay.
And I found out the other day, I didn't know this while I was in high school, but she's like has like a very strict like Amish family, and like they don't even celebrate like birthdays or anything like that. And
does she like use electricity? No, I'm serious. She's Amish, or
they live outside. I don't know.
They go outside. They're not allowed to be under sunshine either. Yeah, but go ahead.
But they, one of her, like a bunch of her friends, one time like just showed up at a restaurant with her family and like just sang her happy birthday, and her family was kind of like upset, but then they kind of understood at the same time, just because like some people are gonna outgrow because it was like super strict thing, like they'd even celebrate birthdays and then all of her friends showed up around her birthday while she was at dinner and like surprised her, but her family was there still, so it was like.
Did the family feel it? Did they like shun her afterwards? Like, hey, you told people that it was your birthday. We don't celebrate that shit. Like,
right? No, I think they understood. That's from what I've heard. Okay. From what I've heard, I heard this the other day. I didn't even know they were cousins, but
okay, huh?
So I'm guessing her and Lil Baby aren't tight because
he's not upholding the Amish values.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, it's strange, man. Like, I don't know if you noticed this once you got into Brooklyn, the amount of Hasidic Jews that are around here, like. It's a very strange phenomena that these people are existing in. Like, it's really cool. Like, I actually watched a documentary, and like I can see that they're doing very well, and they have all these like cool things that they get because they live that lifestyle. But it's weird when you're like not allowed to use your phone on certain days, and you're not allowed to eat certain foods. You have to. Doesn't matter if it's 100 degrees out. You have to wear a fucking full suit. Like, I'll be outside sweating in a tank top and flip flops, and there's dudes walking around with coats. It's the wildest thing.
So wild.
Mm-hmm.
I was talking to Freddie earlier when we were walking, and he said like they have their own schools, they have their own buses. What?
Yeah, they even like
what?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
How can you do that? How can you just be like, yeah, we're Christians. We're just gonna. I mean, I guess there are. Christian schools, private schools are kind of Christian, right?
There are Christian schools. Yeah. They're like Protestant schools and Christian schools and Catholic schools. No, they are, but like I don't know if they benefit from like public transportation. I don't know if they use like regular school, but they might like just hire a bus company where they keep it in their community. So that's actually one cool thing about their culture is. And like where I can see where it makes sense why they do what they do is because they're making sure that their religion lives and continues. And one way of doing that is making sure that everybody in the community is good. So they keep their money in the community. So you heard of kosher food, right?
No.
Like, so essentially for them to eat food, it has to be blessed by a rabbi first. So you'll hear like this is kosher bacon. Well, do they eat pig? They don't eat pig, so not bacon. Like there's kosher milk and kosher this, and like they're only allowed to eat that stuff.
Right.
I believe it was Chris that actually told me about this. That that's a way for them to keep money in the community because then you have to buy food from a Jewish person, meaning that money stays in the community.
Okay.
So it's not like getting thrown out of like state or going into other people's pockets. They want everybody to keep the money in there. So they're going to use their own public transportation. They're going to use their own ambulances. They have like minivans driving around that are ambulances. You'll see stickers on them. And like that's what they want because they want to make sure their culture's doing good.
Right.
They own the building that I live in right now. They own all these buildings, not all of them, but that's actually a really cool thing about what they do is because they stick together on that. Like it'll be a group of people, they put money into a building, they'll live in that building, and then when money's right, then they'll buy another one. And then they'll have other people essentially pay the cost for the building, and then that's why they're owning what they own now, and that's why they're going to continue to grow because their values are they're working together. This is big teamwork.
They're loyal.
They're loyal. Yeah, no, that's it, man. And that's where, like, I have mixed feelings about religions, of course. There's obviously a lot of really good things, but I don't know. I just think it's weird to take the freedom away from people. Like, there should be some sort of freedom of figuring out how you want to live. But if you're sick, someone in the community is going to help take care of your kids. You need to go to the airport, you need to go to the hospital. In seconds, you'll have somebody come by. And, you need somebody, somebody will bring food for you, somebody will bring this, that. You know everybody in the community to a certain point. So, you know what I mean? So,
yeah.
And that's actually one thing that I feel like America's struggling with is there's not as much community. Like, you see it more down south, I'm sure, right? Like,
I've never really seen it like that.
Okay,
to be honest.
not like because that's an extreme end. Yeah, because they're very like every other person in the religion of your same sex is dressed exactly like you. They value the same things. They're playing the same exact rules as you are. So you're going to be close. And you know the same music. That's where tradition and culture really keep people go together.
There's definitely not as much diversity down there as there is up here.
Yeah,
like, that's for sure.
Do you? I was going to bring this up earlier. Because the times that I've been there, I don't really know, like, I really never got to, like, mix with people. When we're there, we're just hanging out with you guys. Like, are people in the South as racist as people want to believe they are? I know they're not, but I want to hear from you and see what you've seen and all that. Like,
well, there's always people that are.
Of course, even up here. Doesn't matter where you are.
The thing is, I don't know if there's more down there.
You can't compare.
Yeah,
I don't know what's out here.
But
is that something you see? You see?
I mean, I've seen it. Like my brother's friend one time, he was over at their house, and they take care. His parents are pretty much his grandparents.
Okay.
Let's just say that.
Yes. Yeah.
And so his parents are older, a lot older, and they were in the car one time. They were like going to a baseball game or something, and they were driving. And
what the complexion? What's their ethnicity?
Yeah, they're white.
Okay, gotcha. Cool.
So they get in the car or whatever, and there's like a bunch of crows in their front lawn.
Okay.
And the grandma was like, "Look at all them N-word birds." She's like, "Look at all them N-word birds." And, I was like,
and you were with them?
No. Like, it was my brother.
Okay. Oh, okay.
But
wow.
He kind of just chuckled, like, but it was just like, it wasn't even like she was trying to, she obviously wasn't being racist towards the birds. Like, that wasn't her. And
fucking bird racism, bro. They're gonna have some social justice warriors soon protesting on that.
But I mean, it was just like, I guess that's how it was when they grew up, and that's how, like, it's hard to change. Like, if you go a certain way your entire life, it's gonna be hard for you to change. Somebody's gonna come up and be like, "Hey, you can't do that now." You're like, I've been doing this my whole life. What do you mean?
I've been calling birds the N-word since I was fucking 12, motherfucker. Yeah. Like, and that's it. You get programmed by your society. And that's what I was saying earlier. Like, you're going to go into the careers that your society values. And you're going to say the things that if you got away with it for decades, and were you going to change these old people now? And there definitely is that, like, older people are more racist because people were more racist at that time. They grew up with it being okay. We're like, we're going to sound ignorant as fuck to our grandkids. I'm like, you said what? You said this is crazy? That's a thing now, right?
How do you think that? Why do you think that?
Maybe the main reason I say is because we're always going to be surprised, right? We never know what's going to come next. if we look back, I know for sure, just like our parents, when they look back 30 years at the way they dressed, we're going to be looking back at the way we dressed. Like, what the fuck were we thinking?
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, these things happen. It's just a reoccurring pattern. That's why I say it. But you do already see it a little bit. So that's like the example that I used was there are people who get upset. If you go, yo, this traffic was crazy, or this sandwich was insane, it was delicious, you know, they'll find that offensive because there are people with mental illnesses. And if you say that, you're being inconsiderate of, like, I was actually, one of your little sisters, or you said it where it's like, you know, like, why would people say, like, oh, I'm so bipolar, you know, by saying like they're sporadic, but it's like, you're not actually bipolar. Why are you saying that? And I understood your sister's point, but I'm also 10, 15 years older than your sister. And it's like, there's no problem with saying maybe there will be. So that's what I'm saying. Maybe our kids and our grandkids are going to be like, yo, you can't say that. And it's like, there will be no argument and we'll be the person calling birds the N-word. But there is obviously a difference there. There's definitely
But I definitely see what you're saying. That was a perfect example right there. Because you guys always say, like, used to say the R word a lot. Like, I don't know why I said the R word. Retarded.
Yeah.
You guys always used to say retarded as, like, emphasis. Just as emphasis, not as, like...
Like, that was retarded delicious?
Yeah, like, not even as something stupid, like...
Yeah, it is stupid. But that's slang, though. Like, we say the craziest things, like, because...
And my sister used to, like, get, like, offended about that, too.
Mm-hmm. I think that's where the conversation came up.
Probably.
I think my brother said it, and she's like, you shouldn't say that. And then bipolar was the example that she used. Yeah, like, it's actually funny because... It's funny that you say that, because now it's a word when people say it in public, I kind of get it, you know... Off ease, I'm like looking around, like, is anybody annoyed by that word? Like, this person works with autism kids. Are they offended by the fact that this person said the R word? And that's
the R word.
and that's definitely, it makes sense why someone would be offended by it. Again, you want to call somebody lame, you want to call them a sissy, or you want to call them gay, like, oh, dude, this.
Yeah, we definitely can't say that.
Can't say it, right?
When our kids, no.
Right?
I can see that.
And I get it.
Definitely see that.
I don't think the government should ever get involved with things like this. I never think the government should say you can't say this and you can't say that. That opens up a can of worms. Now then you're gonna have people getting killed for saying certain things or getting arrested for, you know, and who's deciding what words you can say and can't say.
I was thinking about that earlier today or yesterday. I was like, this freedom of speech and you can say whatever you want, but I feel like you shouldn't say whatever you want.
Yes.
You just shouldn't say whatever you want all the time.
Yes.
It's not.
But see, that's the thing. Like, that should be up to us as the individuals and as the culture.
Well, yeah, it has to be.
Because you can't have... that's my point. Yeah. But people are actually working against that right now. Where, like, if you were to insult somebody because of their sex or their race or, again, or their like, if they're transgender, that's, like, a big one now. You shouldn't say those things. You shouldn't shit on people. You shouldn't make people feel bad because you want to be a good person. You want to spread positivity. But do you want to get arrested for those things?
Right.
Where, like, yeah, if you say something extremely racist, something hateful, like, maybe there should be some sort of punishment for it. But then that list is only going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. Because then, you said, you know, this weather is crazy. Now, if you have somebody who's emotional and, like, is power hungry, they're going to put a law on that and say, no, now you can get arrested. But then it goes, you know, now you're not allowed to say meat is good. Because you know what I mean? Because you're spreading anti-veganism, you know, propaganda. Now we can arrest you. That's where it's problematic to restricting speech, because it's not going to stop with one word. It's going to keep going, because that absolute power corrupts absolutely, and it's just going to grow. And it's going to
definitely needs to be up to the, like, it has to be. It's up to the individual. But it just certain things, like, if you go in an elevator, you can. If you walk in an elevator and you're the last one to get in, you can just look back towards all the other people. You just don't do that.
But people are gonna look at you.
Just don't.
Yeah.
Just don't say that.
Yeah.
You don't have. I don't understand why people always, like, especially now. I feel like with people my age, they always just feel like they have to say, like, what's, like, they have to say their opinion. They have to say they're offended. They have to say, like, it's just like, dude, just let it go. Like, you don't have to say that. You're just making it a big deal, and now now you're making it, like, more people are involved. It's kind of embarrassing. Like, I don't understand it.
But see, this is the thing. Like, I agree with you completely. Like, there should be words that we should get away from. So, like, you shouldn't say somebody is mentally challenged. Even then, right? Like, even though that sounds weird, like, why can't you just say that? You should say that person has a mental disorder.
Oh,
it's a person with a mental disorder. I'm not. I'm not. This is not a great example, but I'm not Hispanic. I'm a person with Hispanic origin. It's stupid. Don't make people say this,
right.
like, these things. And I'm not like fighting for these, but it should be culturally distributed. So now, if you're going around saying the N-word to people, mm-hmm. and you're calling people retarded, and you're whatever,
right?
People are not going to want to be around you. So you're going to take that social cue. Oh, if I want to keep my friends, I shouldn't say things like that. That's how it should be enforced.
Right.
Like, for example, I forget which state it was. There's little Italies everywhere. Mm-hmm. So there was a little Italy that they didn't like serving black people when they were able to now eat wherever they wanted to, right? So they didn't want to do that. So now, with generally speaking, you don't want the federal government coming in and controlling everything, because then they have too much power and then they take over.
Right.
But it happened on its own, where people are hearing that they're spitting in black people's food. So obviously you're a black person, you want to eat there because you don't want to eat spit. But then you hear that as a person, you're like, wait, they're doing what to black people? Fuck those people, I'm not going to go there.
Right.
Or even if you don't even, like, let's say you're a racist too, and you go, wait, they're spitting in those people's food? Well, they might be spitting in my food just because I'm rude. I'm not going to go there. And that little Italy shrunk more and more and more, because we live in a capitalist society. If you're not making money, you don't get to exist. And that's how things get balanced out naturally, instead of having this mechanism that's gonna fix everything on its own. But then that legislation's only gonna get more and more spread and more powerful. Then, because that's how the government always does. The government has way more power than as it does now than it did 200 years ago when they started. And that's the thing. That's where the free speech thing is scary. But it's going to happen naturally that these things are going to get fixed. Because nobody wants to be around assholes.
Right.
Yeah,
for
like,
sure.
I can see somebody and I can think in my mind, this person's hideous. This person is a slob. They're disgusting. I might feel that way, but I don't have to say it. Why do I have to say it?
Right.
I'm going to tell them, go lose weight? No, let them figure their own shit out. Like, I don't have to come in and judge. And I think that's just, as long as we value the right values, you know what I mean? You should be a considerate person. You should be like kind to people and try to be the ideal human, not because the government's telling you to do it, not because the religion's telling you to do it, but because this is how you want to act, because this is how you're going to live the best life that you could possibly live. And also, people are not going to distance themselves from you.
You're going to have good relationships if you're honest and you're loyal, humble,
brolic.
But every day I feel like what you said was spot on, to be honest with you. And I have a question for you.
Please do.
What do you think about the pedophiles trying to be in LGBT?
That shit's fucking crazy, man.
Crazy,
yeah, when I first heard of that, I thought that was a joke, because, like, people give the LGBT shit all the time, and it's like, I don't understand why you give these people shit. Right. They're just looking for equality for their people, because
you understand why?
No, that's not what I understand why. But that is a problem. If they just start, if they were to pull in pedophiles, they're not gonna. Like, anybody who sides with pedophiles, again, you're going to be ostracized. They're gonna push you out of the tribe because you don't want that shit in here, But that's a crazy thing, and that's where this whole like everything in moderation. You said it earlier, which is perfect. Right. I don't know if you know the concept of the Tao, DAO, Tao. It's the yin yang.
Oh, okay.
It's both good and evil, both chaotic and orderly. You wanna walk the middle path. Right. That's what the Tao is. So we do want to be tolerant. We do want to be accepting, to a certain extent, though. Like, we don't want to keep people out. We don't want people to be neglected. But there's certain things that we should keep out. Pedophilia is one of them. You know what I mean? So, because that's the argument. Like, we should accept people of all colors. Good. We should accept everybody of all sexual preferences. Good. It doesn't matter what sex you are. Like, let's accept these people. Religion, let's accept you. Wait, who? People who touch little kids? Some people would argue, like, no, we should be accepting of everybody. That's not their fault. It's their sexual preference. That's what people are saying. It's a
Right.
disease. It's a sexual preference. Either way, it's fucking immoral. Either way, it's dangerous. So that's where we draw the line. The line has to be drawn somewhere. There has to be.
I had to ask.
No, good question. No, 'cause it's touching upon a lot of the same things that we're talking about, because that is clumped up into the same problem and same argument, because the whole free speech thing, the whole social justice thing, that's in it. That's actually like a thing that's happening. Like, what'd you hear about it that made you like?
No, me and my roommate were talking about it the other day.
And it just came up, and you guys were like, where'd your conversation go? I'm curious.
It was kind of messed up. It was just a joke, though. We just made a joke. So
jokes are good.
Hold on.
Don't see, that's the one thing that this whole them attacking freedom of speech and them saying, oh, you shouldn't say things that are offensive. Jokes are fucking jokes. Let people say jokes. Again, if you offend somebody, they're allowed to punch you in the face. So you better be fucking careful. They're not allowed to, but you might. So that's, again, these things get selected naturally. But what were you guys saying? If you feel comfortable, say the joke. If you don't, I get it.
I remember it perfectly, but it was like something along the lines of pedophiles are like weird or something, and then we said, I wish I fucking remembered the context of it, and then if that group lets them in, like they're weird, or like I don't know, something along those lines. But
yeah, oh no, absolutely. If you go and you start defending pedophiles, as if you're like defending murderers and thieves and liars, like you get thrown into the same box as they are.
And you should, deservingly.
Yeah,
sure.
Of course, because you're essentially.
Was that a true story about Little Italy, by the way?
Yeah,
that was cool.
Yeah. No, I made that one up. I figured I'd give you a random anecdote that I just made up in my head. No, that's a real thing. I forgot where I heard about it from. I think Thomas Sowell, Sowell. Like, I'd been listening to a lot of his stuff, and he talks about like
philosopher.
He's an economist, actually. So he's actually like. Talking about different things with, like he's been talking about what we're talking about now for years. Like, again, certain economic policies that are better, how, like he talks about, like he's black, so he's like talking about race and certain things, how people, obviously there is racism, but people take advantage of the victim aspect of it, and it's like, again, it's all down to the individual. So he talks about a lot of that stuff, and he mentioned that, where it's like, the government shouldn't say, hey, restaurants, you have to do this.
Right.
It's going to happen naturally. We don't want to give power to the government. We're a democracy. The whole thing of the origin of this country, that's what they were trying to base it off of. And it's actually a problem that the federal government's getting more and more powerful, because it's only going to go in the direction of a totalitarian government, because it wants more power. Everybody wants more power. Everybody wants to climb the dominance hierarchy and all that stuff.
And it looks like the Jews are in first, right?
They're doing good, man. So, like, that's actually one thing where, again, that I really do appreciate about their culture is community is really important. Nobody should be alone. Nobody should be trying to do things on their own entirely. There's only so much you can do, and
that's crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know how they do that here, especially too.
Right?
I was just thinking about like in Dominican Republic, like everybody's like. It is just one community because it's Dominican Republic, everybody's Dominican. But like here, it's like so diverse, and it's just like I don't know how they still manage to like
brainwashing, not to shit on them.
Remain a community.
Yeah, because that's the thing. That's actually why like conservatives are so against like immigration and things like that, because they want to keep the culture congruent as possible.
Okay.
Because there are benefits from that, from people being like-minded. So that's definitely what they're going for. I was actually talking to Freddie about this the other day, where it's like, I don't know how they pull it off. Like if they were in some canyon and it was just them and there was no internet, no phones.
Right.
Like it would be easier, but they're in one of the most diverse places with all the information at their fingertips. You know what I mean? A kid goes into a park, he has Wi-Fi. He's gonna be able to look whatever he has to look up. And if he finds something that is saying anything against his religion or whatever, then he can start to question it. And if he starts to question it, he might leave. And that's
so they don't have phones.
I think they're
saying.
Yeah, right. Like how do they? That was the question I asked Freddie, where I was trying to like think in my mind, like how do they pull it off? And that's why what I said to you. It's like some sort of brainwash, right?
Well, I feel like it's partially, I guess if you want to call it brainwashing, but if that's, I feel like it's also kind of tied with how we were raised. Like our parents were Catholic, and
Yeah, we were brainwashed too.
Right? Yeah.
But not even just being Catholic, but being American, being New Yorkers, liking hip hop, liking these shows and that. You know what I mean? Like we do get.
Brainwashed. But
Yeah,
I don't know.
it's not the best word for it, but we get indoctrinated into our
Right.
beliefs, and that's why people
Influenced.
are so influenced. Yeah, but like, how much choice do you have on the influences when the influences, like, you know what I mean? Like, that's all there is outside information
so many
from your
boundaries.
surroundings. Yeah. So I don't mean to insult them by saying like they're
Right, yeah, no, 'cause
brainwashed.
we went
but,
through, it's like,
but now they have to do things so that their kids don't get don't stray off. Where if a kid does find something on the internet, they still remain in the religion because. So like one thing that is a problem about the religion is if, let's say, you're in it and you break their rules.
Right.
You decide you want to get a divorce, for example. You have an abusive partner and you don't feel like you should be with them anymore, and you get divorced. Now the whole community shuns you because you did something that you weren't supposed to do. That's a problem. Like, I can see the benefits of having a marriage that lasts forever. There's obviously tons of benefits, especially
Right.
for the family. But there's obviously, again, moderation. You have to walk the middle path because sometimes you do have to get divorced. Sometimes for your own sake, you have to do that. But now they're going to shun that person. And now that person loses the community. They lose the help of bringing food and being taken care of when you're sick and getting rides to the airport. That's gone. That's a problem. So they have to keep their kids staying within the boundaries of the rules.
right.
And they're surrounded by all this stuff. So let's say you're in the community and you find out somebody gets kicked out because they got divorced. You can't talk to them because guess who's gonna be the next one getting kicked out? So now that's where it's brainwashed.
Right.
Now it's like, hey, you're not allowed to believe that the world is 4 billion years old and the universe is 14 billion years old. You're not allowed to believe those things because it doesn't go in line with what they believe. So, but now if you go and you're reading science articles and you're hearing these extremely intelligent, knowledgeable people speak of these things, there has to be a mechanism in your brain that rejects it. You know? So
Right.
you go 4 billion years old and they program you since you're a kid to shut that information out. Boom. That's where, like...
Yeah, I feel like that's any religion though too, because
Yeah.
It's any religion, but it also depends on how strongly you believe and how strongly you participate in the religion.
Mhm.
If you're gonna like, the term that I've heard before is like a cafeteria Catholic.
Yes.
Where they just
Yes.
pick and choose what they want to believe.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like any religion, if you're a strong believer, like, you're gonna get on my nerves. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
though? Like,
So, like, for example, like, if we were to tell our parents, I believe that the world, the universe is 14 billion years old, they're not going to kick us out the family.
right.
It's not too strict, but they're still pounding us with all the values. Be forgiving, be generous, family first, like all these important factors that are good about religion.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, that and it's good, but at least we're not getting kicked out the family because,
Yeah.
so that's where it's like there's these extremes. And the same thing with social justice warriors. They're doing the same exact thing. Oh, you don't believe my beliefs? I can't talk to you anymore. Whatever you say, I'm ignoring. Doesn't matter if you have evidence or scientific proof behind it or
PhD.
you make or whatever. They're cutting themselves off from information, and that's a fundamental problem in being a human, because you have to be able to adapt to new information. If you get old and stagnant, you die. If you're not using the new tools to your advantage, you're gone. You're not going to be able to function most properly. So if you still think that certain races are beneath you and certain sexes and sexual preferences are beneath you, guess what? You're probably going to lose your job over it. You don't have a good job anymore, then you're not going to be able to eat the way you eat and live the way you live.
That shit scares me too, dude.
What
It's
exactly?
Like, we're talking about social media and how I'm like addicted to social
Mhm,
media,
mhm.
but then like when I post what I want to post and what I think is funny, I'm like, oh, dude, if my next job is like sees this, you know what I'm saying? Like,
that's a fucking problem. That's where the whole
scary.
freedom of speech thing comes in. People should be able to say whatever they want to say to a certain extent. Of course, there's always a line.
But then on social media, it's the thing where like, it's not really me. It's like I can say whatever the fuck I want. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that.
But it has
your
name on it.
Big thing.
Yeah. Like, do you know who James Gunn is?
No.
So he's the guy who's directed the last Guardians of the Galaxy movie.
Oh, okay.
He's gonna do the third one. He actually got fired by Disney because he was doing something that wasn't cool. He was making pedophilia jokes on Twitter years ago. He's making pedophilia jokes. Obviously, that's a gross topic. So they fired him for it. So this extremely successful, talented person who made an incredible movie and was going to make another incredible movie lost his job because of jokes that he was saying. So where is the line drawn? If he was a pedophile and he was promoting pedophilia, that makes sense. Get rid of this dude. But if he's saying jokes, he should be able to continue doing what he's doing. And there's actors in the movies who wrote a letter to Disney. There are people who are saying Drax, the dude who played Dave Bautista. Yeah. He's saying if they fire James Gunn, he's out of the next movie. So because of what he said, and that's a scary thing.
Joke,
yeah.
I mean,
again, there's a line that has to be drawn somewhere.
I get what you're saying.
But a joke years ago, I think that should be taken a little more lightly. And that's a scary thing about this thing. You see this thing, and these things, these cameras and these microphones that are pointed. Like that is a scary thing that I think about plenty of when I'm gonna want to record. Like, what do I say? What do I avoid? So far, being honest, it seems like the right philosophy. If I think, honesty is a huge virtue. Like, that's a big one. I think as long as I'm being true to myself, I should be good. But there might be one day where someone's gonna pull some bullshit and be like, you said the R word on the podcast. You said it 4 times in the podcast.
In one podcast.
And then there's some HR dude who works for YouTube who's super against it, and he has a cousin who has autism, and he's like, fuck this guy, I'm demonetizing him. So then I stop making money off this, and then they take me off. Then all this hard work that I put into it could be gone because of something I said. And that's a scary thing. We do have to be careful. You might not get a job one day because you decided to say a joke. And that's
you better hope you're a comedian then.
Yeah, right. Well, this is a comedy podcast technically. So
we're good.
Fuck all y'all sensitive motherfuckers, all right? Jeez. But that's always gonna be something that people are dealing with. You know who Alex Jones is? InfoWars dude, not a psycho, but he's crazy. He's
Alex Jones.
Jones.
The guy that was on Joe Rogan's podcast.
Yes.
Like the guy that's like rambling about like the elders or something. I don't know. It was honestly kind of made sense, but like
I know it did.
It did.
It's
right?
talking about pyramids on the moons of Mars and interdimensional pedophiles and all this crazy conspiracy shit. Like there are things
He's
that
a genius.
That's what you want to call it. But like he got taken down off of Facebook and iTunes recently because he's saying hateful, crazy things.
Have you heard of Jesse Lee Peterson?
No, who's that?
He's like he's a black guy that has this YouTube channel, maybe even his own show, and he's black, but he has this, like, he's famous for like having black people on the show and saying like Black Lives Matter and like saying black people are evil and like just saying all of this shit, like.
Wait, he's supporting Black Lives Matter and he's saying black people.
No, he's not supporting.
Oh,
Black
he's
Lives
again.
Matter.
Okay, okay. And then what happened?
It's just like he had these two Black Lives Matters, like is activist the right word?
Yeah, I think so.
And he was just like talking to them, like he's like, yeah, I just don't. He was like saying you guys, like you black people, saying like that.
Not the activists, you guys.
No, like you
he's
guys.
Saying you guys,
black,
like, okay,
right.
Putting
And
every single person with that complexion in the
like,
same box.
They were like, are you black? And he's like, yes, I'm black. And they were like, why are you like saying, like, why are you separate? And he's like, well, because you're evil black people. And this is like, it was so wild. Like, he's like, you guys just complain about everything, and you make everything your problems everybody else's problems, and you just complain, and you want other people to fix your problems for you, like saying all this shit. And I was like, oh my, he's on you. Like, I was like, holy shit.
And he's still like
like one of the people walked out. They were like, I could like.
Okay, yeah, it's funny, man.
He's what's the word? Instigator.
He's an instigator.
He's
okay.
a huge instigator.
He's trying to
She
start
started
shit.
walking out. He's like, oh, I thought you were a woman, like a real woman. Like, yeah, dude, he just kept adding on to it.
Was
he's
it
like some old guy?
That's what I was gonna say. I see in his stuff. Yeah, he's offensive.
Yeah, he's offensive.
Yeah,
he's very
not like
he's rude.
Yeah, he's rude. I don't know too much of the things that he says. It again only wants like a video to. It's not even what whether he's saying things that are wrong or right or whatever. His style of it is he's attacking you
right,
the whole time. He's like, that's not a way to go. No matter what, whether you disagree with somebody or not, like. There's a better way of discussing instead of just insulting somebody.
And like even when he talked to Ben Shapiro, do you know who that is?
Yeah.
He talked to him one time, and he was
shout
like,
out to the intellectual dark web.
For real.
For real.
I get stuck on his videos. It's like comebacks, Ben Shapiro comebacks. He was they were having a discussion, and he's asking a question, but he's like trying to get him down like not a wormhole, but he's trying to like.
The guy's trying to get Ben Shapiro into
say something. That's
he's trying to trick him into saying something wrong.
And he's just asking him a question. He's like, "Oh, okay," and like just completely avoids it. Like he doesn't even care about the discussion. He's just trying to accomplish like making this guy look bad. Yeah. That's how I saw it. I was like,
"Did you ever see the Kathy Newman video with Jordan Peterson when he's talking to that news anchor lady and she just continues to put words in his mouth and like trying?"
Was there like 3 of them?
No, it's 2. It's him and this woman from I think it was BBC News or something like that, and she just continued to say, "So what you're saying is," you know what I mean? And she'll say something that is like had nothing to do with what he's saying.
No, that's not.
And then like that's actually a big thing. So it's funny that you bring up Ben Shapiro after everything we were saying, because he's one of the big activists for freedom of speech right now, because him, Jordan Peterson, Joe Rogan, the Weinstein brothers, like all these dudes are just saying what they believe, and they're not saying anything offensive or hateful. There's no hate in their intention. They're just talking on a philosophical, political like background,
right.
And the way people try to disarm them is they're racist. You know, like what that dude was.
I don't get that.
Which part
like
exactly?
How because I see it on YouTube all the time. If you look up any of those names, it's like comebacks to people that are like just like either heckling Joe Rogan on stage or like whatever it may be. And I don't understand why, like how they can see that, because everything they say doesn't. It's just like all they're saying is on an individual level you need to be a better. That's all I get out of it. It's like you need to be a better person at the individual level.
Yes,
I don't know if people get offended out of that or like get like.
No, you know what it is? People get to believe whatever narrative they want to believe, right? So if you say, "Oh, by him saying this, he's a racist," they're not. These people, the people who are saying Jordan Peterson and Ben Shapiro and all these dudes are racist, they're not actually listening to them speak. So that's what I was saying earlier, where they shut people out.
Right.
Oh, you know, that person's evil, that person's racist. I'm not even going to listen to you. So then if you're not going to listen to them, how do you know what their actual beliefs are? There are people who probably were listening to this and said, well, Ben Shapiro, they like Ben Shapiro, they're racist. I was like, but has Ben Shapiro ever said anything racist? Right. You know what I mean? Is he pushing those things? No, because you actually listen to what he actually speaks about. You can't argue. Like, political stuff, like economical stuff, you can disagree with them because that stuff is still figured out, but they're not saying anything crazy. When someone says you have to, you know, take responsibility for yourself and try to be the best individual that you can be, how do you argue against that? Because they're not listening. That's it. And see, that's a problem. I think, and I even think that would be the solution to this whole like war that people are having. Just hear people out. Actually, because these people, like for example, who they think they're on the side of justice, and they're on the side of being tolerant and accepting, and they're fighting racism and hate, but they're also looking at it from the same perspective that they're fighting, where they're saying, oh, these people are putting all minorities into a bubble and generalizing them or whatever. But they're doing the same thing in reverse, where it's like, oh, all these people, they're hateful racists, or all white people are racist. These people are saying these things and not realizing they're being racist in it, which is amazing. Like,
I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying, because like on Twitter and stuff, like I see that all the time. I'm just gonna relay everything back to Twitter because that's all I know.
That's all. Welcome to 2018.
Or like people like you'll see a video of somebody doing something wild, like a white person doing something wild, and then a black person will quote it and be like, "What the fuck wrong with y'all white people?" Like it's just like
why can't they just be a crazy person doing wild
right.
things?
Why can't
like
it just be one white person?
because you like, and that's the thing. People know you can't put an entire race into one personality trait. You can't say all blah 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 are these. They know that, because if you were to say all Hispanic people are this, people will be like, whoa, that's racist. But if you were to say the same thing about white people like those same people would say, like, a good example, a nice look at a nice little taste of Brooklyn. Me, Chris, and Freddie are out one day.
Okay.
Freddie's a little drunk. Freddie spills a little bit of beer on a girl by accident, and then she ends up going up to Chris, and she's like, Chris is trying to like defend Freddie, like he's drunk, blah blah blah, and she did not see a drunk person fucked up. She saw a white guy fucked up. She thinks Freddie's white, which is funny because Freddie's not actually white.
Oh wow.
And she's like, yeah, you know, he just thinks he's better. Like he has I forgot what the brand of the jacket she thought he had. Like, what is it? Patagonia. He's like, him and his Patagonia jacket. It's a North Face jacket, like his only jacket. And she thinks like he's like this rich
only jacket.
and then she's sitting here like completely judging him because she thinks he's white and she thinks he's an asshole for it. And Chris goes, oh no, look, he's Dominican. And she goes, oh, I'm so sorry.
What?
Baba, I wouldn't have said that. Because he's Dominican now. And it's like, that's fucking racist.
Yeah.
But in her mind, she's just. She's
That's
good.
crazy.
She's fighting for the little people. It's like, why do black and Spanish people need help? She was also trying to fuck Chris.
Oh, okay.
But that was also because she has white guilt, and Chris has a complexion to him. So she's like, I'm trying to get back to community by fucking some black. And that same night, we met some black kid, and Chris starts that conversation with him, and he's like, yo, this place is different. Like, it's weird. He's like, I love it.
Have you seen that Key and Peele skit?
No.
Where they're like they're both sitting at the bar. And like a white guy comes up and he has like a Wu-Tang Clan shirt on or whatever.
Okay.
And he like right before he walks up to him, he like spills some on it. He's like, "Oh, what's up, brothers? I just spilled some stuff on my Wu-Tang Clan shirt." And, like he's like dying like that, whatever.
Trying to relate.
And then, like some other girl came up, and she's like, "I'm so sorry." And they were like, "What?"
You mean that's our yoga teacher's voice?
Yeah. That's our yoga teacher.
That's the voice of the social justice warrior girl.
She was in the video too. She was in the Key and Peele skit. He's like, "I'm so sorry, like about what happened." He's like, "Oh no, like you weren't there, were you?" Like they were like, "You weren't there." They were like making jokes in the skit.
Yeah.
And she was like, "I'm just so sorry." Like, and they left or whatever. And then at the bartender at the end, he's like, "By the way, black people make me really nervous." And they're like, "Thank you."
Yeah, they're funny, man. But yeah, so like that night, literally that same night, Chris is talking to the kid, and he's saying like that girls just throw themselves at him, and he kind of feels like it's this thing where like.
Is that where we're going tonight?
Yeah. But the thing is, the reason why they're throwing themselves at him is because he's black. Not only, I'm sure they think he's good looking and this and that, but he was getting that sense where it's like they feel like they're doing some sort of community service by having sex with him. He doesn't care. He's just beautiful women throwing themselves at him. But like he was just pointing out like this weirdness. That's where he's like,
funny,
and he was viewing it like it's racist.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's racist. I don't need your pity, but.
I don't know if it's pity or if it's just sexual preference, but
No, well, here's the thing. If it's sexual preference, that's obviously something different. But he's saying that's the vibe that he's getting from a lot of these girls.
That story, from what I got from that story, yeah. 'Cause that's so funny. Freddie does look white.
He is white. He actually is a white person. He's Dominican. He's as Dominican as it gets. Both of his parents were born in Dominican Republic. All of us were, but people wouldn't assume that. Like me, I've always been in like the middle of the whole race thing, where it's like, I look white, but I'm Dominican, so like black people can relate with me on that.
Yeah.
But white people can say racist things around me about minorities and think that they're like, this is cool. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's always been.
I literally have the same exact. It's so funny that you said that.
Weird, man. You think that's cool to say that around me? Like, that's fucking wild. But it's just.
I get like my friends say like not my friends, but like I have. Yeah, my friends say the N word around me all the time, like hard. But like as a joke, sometimes when they say the ER. But it's like getting out of hand. Some of them are getting out of hand.
Yeah,
like, all right, guy.
Strange.
Come on, guy.
Strange times, man. But that's, again, people. I don't know. I can't even make excuses for them. I don't know why are people the fuck the way they are. Why are people so
Well, that's like the whole yin yang thing, right? Like I feel like that's with people too. Like there's gonna be good people and there's just gonna be bad people, and you just gotta hope that the good, genuine people in the world have balance it out.
That's true. That's true. And that because you need shitty people for there to be good people.
Right.
If everybody's good, then it's not really good. It's just what people are. But yeah, man. Like I think the big thing is people choosing to believe that they know it all. I don't need new information. I know how it is. This is it. All of these people are this way. You know what I mean? Capitalism is bad.
Right.
Whatever. They know it all, and that's the problem. Because if you have more of an open mind and you're skeptical at the same time, then we'll all have a better chance of working our way towards a more equal society, a more functioning society. But right now we have people who choose to believe that the Earth is flat.
That's my problem, though. I feel like that's well, I feel like a lot of people have this problem, but I always want to be right, and not only do I always want to be right, I always think I'm right.
You think so?
Yeah, because my brother always makes fun of. He's like playing Fortnite in the background.
CJ being Linux. Yeah, it's amazing. You guys, I hope you guys have been enjoying it. I think the video cut off, but the audio's still going, so
I hope
keep
we
it going.
got some dubs. But what was I talking about? CJ, what did I say? Oh yeah, he always makes fun of me because I say definitely all the time.
Definitely,
I'm
yeah,
like, definitely. And he's like, you don't know that, like you don't know that, and I'm like, but I always meant like I'm always like, yeah, I do, like yeah, I do, because I know he's right, but I'm like, fuck you.
Yeah, that's a real thing, man. Like that's actually one thing that I'm working on about myself too, is being very careful with the language. You know what I mean? Like for example, people don't use the word literally right. Sometimes we say the word definite or 100% or whatever, or this is like this, not hey, I'd imagine things will go like this.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or according to blah, 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 this is this. Not this is this, and there's no getting around it.
And what I heard the other day on a podcast where it was somebody said that if you empathize with someone, they're more likely to agree with you.
Yes.
So like if you say, this is the example she gave. She was like, if you say, what's the fastest way to get to Long Island from here?
Mm-hmm.
Take this way, or take 407, or take give me another road.
495.
495. And she was like, if I say, like, if you ask me that and I say, or if I ask you that and I say 407 is way faster, and then I ask you and you say, well, 495 is way faster. If you would have said, yeah, like I can see why you think it's 407. I used to take 407.
Mm-hmm.
I used to think it was faster, but after taking this route, I think it's fast. Like they're just more likely to agree with you if you empathize rather than say like this is. Yeah,
no, like you, like everybody else, you don't want to be told that you're wrong. It's insulting, because we have our egos. So, in a perfect world, I could just be like, no, Dave, you're wrong. Blah 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 blah.
Right.
And then you'd be like, okay, I can see that. But because we are who we believe we are, we imagine we have a certain amount of intelligence and all that. By you saying I'm wrong, now you're attacking me. You're attacking. Well, in reality, you're attacking my ego.
A lot of the time, it's the way the person says it too, which is what I'm saying. Like if you empathize with somebody, like if you say like, you know what I'm saying, like if you know you're right and you say it in a way like you're an idiot, like they're still gonna be like they're still gonna think they're right because of the way you said it.
Mm-hmm. That's actually something I learned a lot in sales, where it's like you don't want to tell somebody they're wrong. They can be wrong, but you don't tell them that. You empathize. Hey, I can see why, and it's the more polite way of doing it, right? Because you're not challenging them, and then they can go, okay, I can see why you think that way.
It's hard to do though.
It's hard to do. Yeah, because we're so consumed by our ego, and we're also not taught that. Yeah, and that's something like the good thing about you is you just said it to me. Hey, I don't like being wrong, so I'm sometimes going to argue even though I might know I'm wrong. That's the first step. You know what I mean? You're aware of that stuff, so then next time around you can stop yourself and be like, you know what I mean? And
I mean,
avoid an argument you don't need to be in.
Not to be like super ignorant about it. Like if somebody makes a good point, like
of course,
yeah, I'm gonna listen to you.
Of course,
well,
but
sometimes.
But me too. Subtly, not subtly, but sometimes I would do that. But that's where the whole picture of just being aware comes into play, where you start paying attention to the things you're saying. You go, oh no. That time around, I was just arguing, and then you can catch yourself and then like avoid an argument.
Right.
You know, and these things get promoted naturally because nobody wants to be around somebody who's constantly challenging them and constantly calling them an idiot and saying that they're wrong.
Yeah, and I saw my brother tried this off of. He saw a podcast where they talked about it, trying to act like if you know you're right, just acting like you're wrong, which I could never do. I could never do that. And he just said he was gonna try doing it, which is my brother, but he never did. I could never it's just like you know you're right, but you just let the person have it.
No.
I don't even know if that's healthy. That would drive me insane.
Like I do certain things where I'm like, hey, I might be wrong, blah blah blah, and there's times that I'll just not too often because I'm similar where like not that I need to be right, but I want the truth to be where it's like, I don't want to leave somebody believing something false,
mm-hmm.
or just me agreeing. Like if you tell me that the Earth is a certain size and it's wrong, I'm gonna correct you. Not because I'm trying to be better than you but like I want truth to be held.
Right.
But there are times where it's just like it's in your best interest just to leave it because there are people you're not going to convince. You're not going to be able to tell somebody who believes that the Earth is flat that the world is round. They're just not going to accept it, no matter what. You can show them pictures. You can bring them to the fucking moon. They'll be like, "Yo, you just you drug me and you put me in a virtual." You know what I mean? Like they'll believe whatever they want. So there are times where you just got to let it go, and it's. The reason why we have so much trouble doing that is because of our ego. Because we don't want to be wrong. We don't want to lose. We got to let go of that shit. Who gives a fuck? We're all going to die.
Right.
You know, who gives a fuck if you're wrong? Like, I got shit to do. I got a life to live for me to spend whatever amount of time arguing with people on Twitter or this or that. People love that shit. Just let it go, man. We got too many good things to do. I can go fucking surfing and fucking skydiving instead of complaining about how people are acting on the internet or what people believe. It's just fucking silly, you know?
It's hard though.
It's hard.
It's like you just have because you have your opinions, and I'm strongly opinionated too. So like when I see something on Twitter that I think is wrong, but I don't know is wrong, it just gets on my nerves.
I'm opinionated too. Yeah. But yeah, just as long as you're hearing it out though.
Yeah.
As long as you're not one of those people, you put your fingers in your ear and go la la la. I'm not even gonna hear you because you're definitely wrong.
Right.
As long as you're not doing that, you're hearing them out, and then you're weighing in your mind like, what if that is true? How would I know if that's true? And like playing with it in your head first before you either dismiss it or accept it. In both directions. You know what I mean? Because people will hear something like, oh, really? That's true? If I fucking eat, 10 apples a day, then I'm going to lose weight. Like, people believe whatever the fuck they want, especially people who read articles on Facebook. They're going to believe whatever they want. This is toxic. This is good for you. Whatever. All these people believe now that weed is good for cancer. Might be. I don't know. But I'm going to be a little skeptical because people make a lot of money off weed. So it's like, you got to be very careful, You got to keep your eyes open. You got to have that balance between skepticism and open-mindedness, But we've been going for an hour and a half, so this has been going good, man. This has been a good podcast, man. Thank you so much. Is there anything you want to close off on or anything like that? We got to go back to hanging out with our cousins who have been in the back playing Fortnite and whispering. I hope you guys weren't here.
Gotta eat my chips.
Eat my chips. Gotta chill.
Do I want to say anything? I want to say I appreciate you for having me on, for real.
Love you, bro. Thank you.
I'm glad I'm here. I'm just happy to be here. And also, I'm gonna be on the radio next semester, so I have there's a link, where there's a live feed into the radio station. So
how can people get that link?
I can give it to you.
Okay, so when it comes out, I'll give you a shout out or something. We might even be able to do something.
I might even come back.
You always do, or that's the timer to go up. Now it's the rice. But that's perfect time we're ending. But we can always do something over the internet. We have all the technology at our hands, so we might be able to do that. I'll link your stuff out, shout you out. You got to shout me out though, because I only do things that are good for me. If I'm getting no benefits, what the fuck is in it for me? I ain't doing shit for you. You kidding me? But good, man. Keep that shit up. I'm gonna keep this shit going. This podcast is staying strong. It's gonna keep moving. Media Fibonacci's gonna be doing his thing. I'm gonna be recording skits and short things. I know you did a little bit of acting as well.
Yeah, I'm excited.
I want to keep creating. I know you're a creative person. Most of us are creative people. Let's stick to this. Let's stick to what again, what I was saying makes us happy. Where there's certain things that when I do them, I feel good. Doing this podcast, I feel good. I want to keep doing things like this. I want to keep creating because I'm a creative person. You're a creative person. So let's stick to it, and then we'll get to live the lives we want to live, man.
Sure.
Anything else?
Nah, it's good.
Dave, thank you so much, man. Hopefully we'll get you back soon.
Yeah. Shout out to all my homies in North Carolina.
North Carolina.
Yeah.
Peace.